You know what's great? Stories. You know what's not great? Theater kid, communist propaganda. You know what's even worse? Angry nerds making hundreds of Kathleen Kennedy hate videos and then releasing their own movie after a crazy Kickstarter campaign, and it's just as bad. Look, man, I'm old. I'm tired. I'm an unk. I'm a sweat. I just want to sit down and I want to watch a cool story executed competently. Like, look at this one. I have to go back like 42 or some years to find something that slaps. Let the man or farm, as they'd say. It's John Carpenter, it's Kurt Russell, it's Ernest Borgnine, it's Lee Van Cleef, Isaac Hayes. Now, if you're young, these names may not mean anything, but for those of us who remember the 20th century, it's damned awesome. Like, if you've watched this channel for any length of time, you'll recognize Ernest Borgnine, for example, from Gattaca. He was the janitor. And I'm due for a video on the black hole, so you'll see him again. He's been in everything from like the 60s on. Lee Van Cleef, as big of a cowboy as Clint Eastwood. Like, I'm sure you know Angel Eyes from Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Isaac Hayes was like the theme song for Shaft. Millennials remember him as the chef from South Park who did that thing where he went schizo over the Scientology episode or fish sticks or whatever. And everybody knows Kurt. He's that rough and tumble action star, the cowboy from Tombstone, the heartthrob for your mom's generation. But back then, he wasn't any of this. He was a Disney kid. You see, back then, kids could work at Disney and not turn into crazed social media whores when they were done. I don't know what they did, but sometime after the 70s, they let somebody in there to start diddling the kids or something, and we've lost a whole generation or two of talent to these amazing Christina Aguilera, Britney Spears crash outs. A generation of talent. But that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is Escape from New York. Like, what they did is they put things together you never would have thought of, and it all turned out. It's got a theme, from the effects to the actors to the soundtrack. It's lightning in a bottle. It's a fine wine. No, a great scotch. I have talked before about the difference between something that was cheaply executed and poorly executed. This is actually a great example of cheaply executed. He's like the Robert Rodriguez of the, I think he's Gen X, maybe he's a boomer. And it's awesome. So what is Escape from New York? Well, first of all, the movie kicked ass. John Carpenter was one of those prodigies. He had just finished Halloween, basically invented the horror genre like a year or two before this. So yeah, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, Scream. The boy is the John Carmack of horror. And he looked like a cartoon bag of cash to Hollywood, so they gave him another one. And the thing I love most about it is I don't think you could do this movie in any other time. I really don't. Computers were huge, because it was the early 80s, like very early 80s. The internet, though, wasn't a thing yet. So I'm going to call this proto Cyberpunk. It has the high tech and the low life that you've come to love from Gibson and others, but it was missing one big thing. No cyberspace, no internet. The gear was like James Bond, goofy gadgets, but actual computer tech. And because it's a simple story. Man is caught by the police, offered a pardon if he rescues the president from an enemy camp, change New York into Vietnam, and it's just as easily Delta Force. Change it into Afghanistan, and it's Rambo 3. Throw it into the trunk of a car, and it's the transporter. But it farms a vibe. That's like 100% cyberpunk. It's got the high tech, it's got the low life, it's got punk aesthetics, ultra violence, authoritarian crackdowns, mega corporation type stuff. It may not look grotesque today, but in 1981, this was like seeing Ninja Assassin in theaters. Like, they just kill people in all the ways. And I haven't looked, but Neuromancer came out a couple years afterwards. I would bet a shiny silver dollar if I were to do a deep dive, I would find out that Gibson got at least some inspiration from this. This movie's like finding out your grandfather used to be Elvis, or was a secret agent for the British, or was the inventor of the steam engine or some shit. And audiences loved it. It cost about $6 million, made $30 million back, so As long as a film doubled its budget in the box office returns, it'll turn a profit, and this one did like 5 times that. Like me, pretty jaded. So we don't have the same war is cool vibe like the boomers had. Well, except for the Vietnam ones, but hey, I feel you. And the best part is, it does this whole America in a fictional future warning thing, but they get rid of all the pomp and the circumstance that any sci-fi writers were doing, like your Asimovs and that. So yeah, lots of crime. So America just walls off New York, and now it's a hellhole prison that evil corporations put the undesirables in. Never mind that in their world, the Twin Towers are still rocking, crime went down, and New York was more affordable than it had ever been. I find it funny when we look at this dystopic future stuff from the past and we're like, dude, I could think of worse. I could think of, I don't know, 2020 America's Summer of George Floyd's. Now for the characters, I'm doing this part a bit different because it has a bit of a different thing to the stuff I normally do. First off, there's no character arcs. No one learns a damn thing in this movie. No one grows. No one develops. Most of the people just die. And you'd think that'd be a problem. But you didn't notice. It doesn't matter. And if anything, it adds to the nihilism that goes through this stuff, which is really kind of the moral message of this movie. Kind of like how they had Rogue One. People just show up and do things, but they execute it properly. So yeah, the government doesn't care about you. People do things to better their life or because they aren't lost yet. They still want some good in the world. The people who care die. The guy who doesn't care gets to avenge them. It's the first movie I've ever seen where the moral message underpinning it is like, fuck you, you prick. So in it, you've got Kurt Russell as Snake. He's your standard silent protagonist, ex-special forces turned thief. He had some shit go down in Cleveland, rob Fort Knox, an eye patch, but they don't tell you because it doesn't matter, and it's cool, leave it be. But it's the 1981 equivalent of Batman. Like, they hired the most squeaky clean Disney guy at the time, they made him a badass. Just like Vampire Boy when they made him into Batman. Everybody freaked out, and now you wouldn't have it any other way. And then you got Lee Van Cleef as Hawk, the police chief in New York. He's the Agent Phelps of this one. Your mission, should you choose to accept it. He's there for the cool factor. He's badass. Everybody knows it. His name precedes him. He's Snake, but he's working for the government. There's not much to say, though. No arc, doesn't learn anything, just playing the game, and that's good enough. And then you got Ernest Borgnine as the cabbie. He's just the guide, kind of sort of like Yoda, but not really. They needed a car. They need a tape deck. He doesn't learn anything. He just loves the fun and the adventure, and he dies to a mine at the end of the movie, a very off-screenish death. And Snake, of course, he has old friends that show up. There's Harry Standen as Brain, and Adrienne Barbeau as Maggie. Like, I love how Snake knows them from Cleveland, but you never know what that means. There's a whole thing in this about revealing a world instead of the exposition. Like, it's better left to guess what happened in Cleveland and infer it from the way people act. Plus, it's just way too many stories nowadays do this thing where they have to give you a 2-minute voiceover narration of everything that's happened to get you caught up. It's like, sometimes let my imagination do some work here. Give me a bit part in this movie. I don't want to know what happened in Cleveland because whatever I can picture is way better than you could ever invent. And pause on this one. Different pause. The 80s had this thing with baddies, with big brunette mullets, and just women that were just stacked. I guarantee you, if you ever look at or have played Shadowrun, any of the fan art you saw had somebody modeled like her on the box set. Big tittied brunette baddies with a solid resting bitch face were all the rage in the 1980s. You had Sigourney Weaver, you had Adrienne Barbeau, Mary Elizabeth Master Antonio, Rosie Perez. The list is endless. Let me know in the chat which ones I forgot, because I know there's a few. They don't make girls like this anymore. Not for film. It's just those chicks now with their eyes set too far apart, and it just doesn't hit right. And they're kind of bitchy, but not in the resting bitch face way, but like really bitchy. Like, I don't want Brittany Venti, Rachel Ziegler, or any Zendaya bullshit. Give me a Barbeau. So yeah, in this one, Brain gets blowed up by a mine, and Maggie gets pissed and eats the front end of a car while she's throwing slugs into the windshield. In their arcs, they don't learn a damn thing. So the last name that matters in this is the Duke, Isaac Hayes. I'm trying to think of the equivalent for this today. It's like if Travis Scott got to play the kingpin of prison, I think. Again, no tragic arc. He wanted out. He had a plan to get past the minefield, trapping them inside of New York City, and he was going to use the president as a human shield to get there. Perfect one-dimensional villainy with a clear desire, clear motivation, keeps the thing going. And in fairness, this is good villainy. Like, a good villain has the same goal as the hero, but he does it in his own way, a bad way. So in this case, Snake had to save the president to get out of prison, and the Duke has to take the president hostage to get out of prison. Winner, loser, dead. But the main character in this whole movie is the aura, the setting, the theme, the tone, the vibe, whatever words you want to use. Punks running amok in New York City? Yeah, these guys did it, for it was cool. You're thinking, oh, the Warriors did it first, but they didn't, not really. Escape from New York did it better with hairspray and the DIY punk outfits and shit. Like Death Wish, they had punks, but they didn't have Mohawk punks. New York is a criminal hellhole. I mean, this was New York in the early 80s. Chirac ain't got shit on New York. This is like pre-Giuliani New York. New York had something like 3,000 murders a year, so sci-fi just does what sci-fi does best. It takes what's happening today and follows it through to its absurdist but logical conclusion. So, like, what happens if this was 10,000 murders a year? How would America react? Well, it'd use the high tech that they have to create an open-air prison. High tech, low life, no internet, proto Cyberpunk. All right, pause. I hate, and I mean I hate, YouTube movie reviews. I hate absolutely tragic theater kids. Silver spoon types who don't know what they're doing, but they got enough money to keep doing it. I hate communist wannabe kids, but I think I'm repeating myself. I hate my dad kids who blame it on capitalism and all that bullshit. I hate the DVD merch Blu-ray box set aficionados that don't really care much about the movie. They just care more about CD rot and if the Funko Pop matches.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the f*** is that? What is that?
It's all lazy bullshit, but in this one, I'm in awe. I got nothing. Like, dude, I didn't even want to do this movie at first. So it's so damn popular. Everyone does this movie. Red Letter Media did a thing on this movie. Joe Blow does a thing on this movie. It's really good. So, of course, Critical Drinker didn't have fuck all to say about it. But the communists, they kept their mouths shut. Probably because it shows America as the villain. But, you know, they love hating America. I mean, they're dad. So my only gripe with the reviews that I see on this movie on YouTube is this channel called Space Ice. They do like a fake LaFontaine trailer voice. I mean, who does that?
It's 1988. A 400% rise in crime, causing an authoritarian takeover of the United States. The city of Manhattan is a prison. No one gets out. Migrants and criminals run the city.
Take me out with you, Snake. I can think of lots of reasons why.
It's the distant, completely fictional future of 1997.
What the Boom!
Today, you're given the future of tomorrow, yesterday. One man, Lieutenant, Special Forces, Black Blight, Siberia, Cleveland, Fort Knox.
The president was on board.
President of what?
You need him alive.
I don't give a fuck about your war.
Set to spend the rest of his life in the prison of the country he swore to protect. The president has been kidnapped. The country is brought to its knees. He's the only man who can get in and get out. The one man who can get the mission done. Do you like action? Do you like proto Cyberpunk?
Come back in, he does.
Do you like stacked women, hand-drawn CGI, and stakes of life and death in Armageddon? Well, I have the movie for you. From the mind of John Carpenter, director of They Live, The Thing, Halloween, and Big Trouble in Little China, comes pre-punk Cyberpunk. The world's greatest leader is a hostage in the most dangerous place on Earth. Now only the deadliest man alive can save him.
You're not in the air in 30 seconds, he dies.
It's Escape from New York, 1981.
Except for, of course, they wrap it up in millennial irony. You know, everything is about laughing at the damn movie and being over the top and not a sincere appreciation for it. Everything's about chuckling and, oh, it's so crap. They call it the best movie ever, but they're doing it in the most pretentious, prick, ironic way. Because if you sarcastically love this movie, do you really? Do you? I mean, I guess that's their right. But they're that type of guy that I can't stand who's not a communist. Like people who love to riff on bad movies because it's fun to have something to make fun of. It's way better. And that's all well and good when you're riffing on like Van Damme's version of Die Hard on Ice, but the shtick doesn't work when the movie's any damn good. It's like they don't know how to enjoy things. Drives me nuts. So the plot. Look, it's all world building, which is great, since it reveals the world and it doesn't tell you the world. Show, don't tell. It's the one thing that modern movies suck so much balls with. Show, don't tell. Cleveland is talked about but never explained. Cleveland isn't like the forces midichlorians or some shit. It's dangerous in here. Not because they say so, but because the first 5 minutes you're in there, you see cannibals eat one of the characters. Like, you don't leave the movie with the moral message, but a mental understanding of the world done right. Starts off with that bare minimum of exposition it needs. Dystopian, 1997. Manhattan, walled-off prison, soaring crime rates. Then you're introduced to Snake Plissken. They give you the whole cliche where he's sitting at the desk reading out his file. Ex-Special Forces, now a convict, caught robbing the Federal Reserve or Fort Knox or whatever. And then you find out, another scene, Air Force One's been hijacked. Terrorists crash the president's plane into Manhattan. The president is captured. The president, he's got some vital cassette tape that's needed for a meeting that's going to be happening with China and the communists and whatever. He's taken hostage. So Hawk, thank God for his good luck, makes a deal. Police Commissioner Hawk recruits Snake to rescue the president for a pardon. And you can tell there's a whole, I know all the different times you tried to screw yourself out of this one. He's too smart to be caught by this stuff. And he also knows that, I'm going to give all the Snake the ways to escape. What's to keep him from just escaping? I need to put a ticking time bomb on this one. So they inject into his neck these little mini explosives that are set to, perforate his aorta or something like that. And it's set to detonate in 24 hours. So he's got 24 hours to get in, get the president, get out. It's very, Bloody Wolf, if you guys are any TurboGrafx fans. So they put him in a glider, slide him into Manhattan. He lands it on top of the World Trade Center, because that's the escape route, because he gets up to the top, and then he can float right out of the island. Fun fact, by the way, on this scene, CGI costs way too much, at least back then. Like, the Star Wars thing with just the screen and the Death Star, I think it cost a fortune, I don't know. But in the coolest effect I have ever heard of, what they did is they just made a model of New York City, all in black, and they put a bunch of reflected tape on the edges and just filmed it so it looked like a wireframe. It's got just the right amount of abstraction to what you're used to seeing in a wireframe that it gives it its own style to it. It's just awesome. Anyways, so Snake gets down below. He ends up running into Cabby. He's a guy that just talks. He knows the way around here, but he likes Snake because he liked all the stories, especially Cleveland and stuff. He's like, yeah, it's too dangerous out here. Don't go out there. And Snake doesn't have time for this crap, so he ends up finding this girl who I actually think is funny. They call her Chock Full of Nuts Girl. I don't even know what that means. And she explains that, yeah, she'll help him, and she gets out. She kind of looks like it's going to be the love interest, but then a bunch of cannibals are running the streets. They go nuts, and they pull her through the floor and just eat her. Like, oh, you thought you met the femme fatale, huh? You thought... So he's following his little tracking device, all the tech that they give him on the outside, the high-tech stuff, to find the president. Turns out somebody took it off, gave it to some homeless guy. Now he's out of ideas, so he ends up just sitting there by himself. Kind of sucks. He eventually runs into Brain and Maggie, which is funny because they knew each other back from Cleveland. And they both know the Duke, which is who he has to find, because that's the only place he knows where the president would be. So they offer to help him out, but they help him escape. Or, you know what I mean? Help Brain and Maggie escape. Duke wants that mind map, which is the thing that Brain has gotten. It's like the equivalent of the cassette tape for Snake. The mind map shows you how to get off of the island without blowing yourself up. Worlds colliding. So Snake's initial plan, they're just going to go to the train where they're holding him hostage, and he's going to sneak him out while Maggie and Brain, distract. But the Duke was waiting for this. And it kind of looks like Brain double-crossed him there, but he also might just be trying to save his own ass pretending like he did. You never quite know, so you're not quite sure if he's an ally or an enemy at this point. So when the Duke kidnaps him, after some very theatrical fighting, another side note on this one, the thing I love about the theatrical fights as opposed to that super realistic Jason Bourne flashy camera stuff is you're not looking at the fight for realism. You're looking at the fight as a storytelling element. So in this case, it's like, yeah, the punches don't look very effective, but they get sold pretty well on camera. The point is just to see that like Snake can fight. He knows what he's doing, and they do it as a foreshadowing thing, because right after this, they're putting him into a cage fight against this brutal guy. I think they call him, his name's Ox Baker. I don't even know what they call him in the movie. But he was an old WWF wrestler, but before my time, which is crazy because I still watch like OG WrestleMania 1. But I mean, when they're doing the violence, it's almost comical. But with that bat in his head at the end, Negan style, again, they're not trying to make it realistic. They're trying to make it story beats. So in the first time with the fights, he was making it look like he was, competent fighter, very good at what he does. Because when they put them in here, it's a guy who's just beating him down, toying with him, throwing him out. But he's quick and he's stealthy and he's like a cobra, which, the snake on his thing. You get it? So it turns out this was all kind of an elaborate plan A, and there was a plan B where Brain and Maggie go and sneak into where the president's being held. They stab Buddy, sneak out the president. Snake ends up sneaking out. They run into each other. And then they need to find a car to get out. Take the car to the New York or the World Trade Center. Take the World Trade Center to the glider. Everybody gets in. Everybody gets free. I'm not sure how everybody's supposed to fit in that thing, but it doesn't really matter at this point. Whatever. Problem is, though, the Duke was kind of expecting this too. So when they go down to Brain's car, the Duke's waiting for him. Snake manages to pull some clever shit and gets them to escape. They end up running into the cabbie on the street. He offers them a ride. Hey, I'll come with. Let's do freedom. A way out of here, I'll take it. And then you get this chase sequence. So the group's fleeing across 69th Street, dodging mines, the Duke's pursuit, all that stuff. It's simple. It's not like 8 Million Ways to Die or To Live and Die in LA type of car chases. It's just about building tension. So they have to avoid the mines on the bridge to get out. Snake's running out of time, but Brain isn't perfect. So they run over one mine because they're rushing too fast. It kills Cabby. Then the three of them start to hoof it, and while Duke is chasing them down, Brain's trying to tell him which way to go. He accidentally steps on a mine himself, dies. Maggie, she's had enough. She's crashing out. She goes like, "Give me the gun." Snake gives her the gun, tells him to get out of here, take the president. So she turns off and faces the Duke with his car with her revolver. And she fires like 6 or 7 shots into the thing, but the Duke hits her with her car, kills her. Don't ever kill my boyfriend. Ride or die, bitch. You gotta love that stuff. And then right at the end, so they make it to the end, they have a little bit of a tussle. The president gets out. And then just before Jake can get on there, or not Jake, Snake. Just before Snake can get on there, the president is all the way up. Duke starts shooting at them with Snake's gun. So Snake can't get out of there because the tech that he was given at the beginning, he'll get shot. But he's only got like 2 minutes left. So luckily, the president, who's pissed because he's been tortured by this guy for God knows how long, just mows down the dude. So then in the final twist, the president escapes. He gets to have that meeting where he's threatening all the other countries with the power that he's got of extra fusion. But just before he goes on, Snake asks him, like, "Hey, all these people died for you to help you get out of here. Just wondering what you thought about that." And he's trying to see, like, is the president a good guy or is he just a piece of shit like everybody else? And he gives some platitude answer about service and duty. And he's like, all right, he's just a piece of shit like everybody else. So what they don't know is he swapped the tapes with one of Ernest Borgnine's tapes in the cab. So they got the wrong tape playing as they're trying to like threaten the Soviet Union. Then Great Balls of Fire or something starts playing. And then Snake just tears up the tape, throws it away. He's like, all right, screw you guys. We're going back to the Stone Age. So yeah, dude, it's weird. Like, it's a simple movie. It's like really simple, but it's expertly executed. It's cheaply executed in places, but every execution is just perfect. The characters, they have no character arcs. Nothing is learned. There's no moral lesson for you to take from it. It's one of the best films you've ever seen. It's Cyberpunk's dad. Especially if it's bitch mom only lets him see the kid 2 times a year. It's 90 minutes of world building. It's pure Kino. You leave on a fun adventure. You learn about the dystopic world of 1997 America. They give you hints about 100 awesome stories that are peppered around in this world that they'll never spoil for you. You feel like you're in the Lord of the Rings, but you only got the Tom Bombadil story. You got an authoritarian government, you got sci-fi dystopia, you got a silent gunslinger, you got stacked baddies, you got punks, you got cannibals, you got the Twin Towers. We can't make this again. We don't have the cast. We don't have the communist threat to inspire us. We don't have the cyberpunk without cyberspace anymore. What do we have now? Marketing, fake and gay cyberpunk. And the dystopian New York we got wasn't the criminal hellhole, but this weird fake and gay utopian hellhole instead with that, I don't even remember the name, the communist that wants rent control everywhere. It's like not what we were promised. But hey, it's never coming back, so just enjoy what we got now, because I damn well did. And pick up the board game. I hear it's pretty fun.